in. And while we are waiting for everybody, I will give a few helpful pieces of information as we jump in. We know a lot of families, like I said, are going to be joining tonight, and we know many folks have questions. And so we are going to be doing a Q&A at the end of the presentation, but we do have the chat feature turned on for our webinar this evening. So if at any point during the presentation, if you have a question or you want something asked at the end, we encourage you to drop the question in the chat. And I promise you, when we finish our presentation, which will probably take about 25 minutes to a half hour, we'll go through all of those questions. So with that, I want to respect everybody's time, and we will jump in a second. But before we do so, I just want to reintroduce myself to everybody. My name is Roger Katz. I am the Director of Student Recruitment and Enrollment at Hebrew Public Charter Schools, and I am joined this evening by my colleague, the head of school at HLA2 Charter, Miss Katie Pasley. And look, we know it's the time of year when you're making lots of very important decisions about your family's future with regard to your children's education. And so, with that, we want to make sure that you get all of your questions answered so you can, make the best choice for your family next year. And so I feel like at this point, what I would love to do is turn it over to our head of school at HLA2, Miss Katie Pasley, and we will jump right into the presentation. Sound good to you, Katie?
Sounds good. Thank you, Roger.
All right, love it. Let's dive in.
All right. So as Roger said, we understand that this is the time of year where you're starting to think about important decisions for next year about school. So tonight's goal is to help you make an informed school choice and unpack what makes HLA2 so special. We're going to talk about what is a charter school, HLA2's mission and values. We're going to take a peek at our curriculum, some frequently asked questions about HLA2, and talk about family engagement and our school communications.
And we'll save some time for Q&A at the end as well, too.
So what is a charter school? A charter school is a tuition-free public school open to all students. There are no admission requirements and no entrance exams. Our students are admitted by a lottery, and all charter schools are held to the same high standards as traditional district schools. Applying to a charter school does not affect your child's chances of getting into any other school.
And I will jump in, I will say at the very end when we go into our Q&A, we know families oftentimes have a lot of questions about the lottery process and what they look like. So at the end, we will go over those important lottery dates, how to apply, and all of that good stuff.
Our Hebrew public schools are leading a national movement of exceptional, diverse public charter schools that teach modern Hebrew to children of all backgrounds and prepare them to be successful global citizens. So we're going to take a look, we're going to break that down and take a look at a few of the pieces that make us special, like teaching modern Hebrew and our global citizenship initiatives. We selected the word olam, which is the Hebrew word for world, as an acronym to express our shared community values. The O standing for outstanding problem solvers, L, lifelong learners, A, aware communicators, and M, making a difference. Global citizens demonstrate all of these values. Our staff demonstrate these values to students as a model. We have conversations about these values, and we highlight these values when students are showing them, such that students are also starting to notice these values in one another and striving to exemplify the values and highlight them when they see them as well.
And I will jump in here and just give a plug. For the folks who are joining, I recognize some of the names of the participants who have already come in for a school tour. But we would also love for the families joining to check us out. We do have School tours posted on our website at hebrewpublic.org if you'd like to come in and sign up, and you can see our students and our staff embodying these values every day. And so, like I said, at the end as well, I will reshare all the information. So hopefully we can get everybody joining tonight to come and observe instruction and see what a school day looks like for our kiddos every day.
Some quick facts about HLA2. We're a diverse by design public school, which serves students of diverse backgrounds and abilities. We were the second Brooklyn school in our network, opened in 2017, and we started with only kindergarten and first grade. For the 2023-2024 school year, we're fully grown, serving pre-K through fifth grade, and we have around 330 students. We're in a private, non-co-located space at 1870 Stillwell Avenue, and we'll soon move to our new building at 2286 Cropsey Avenue. This is a rendering of the new building. If you're not familiar with these locations, it's pretty close. It's just about a 5-minute drive down the road. Here is our leadership team. You see myself, our assistant head of school, Valencia Chapman Thompson. She's also the academic dean for pre-K through second grade. Our director of operations, Melissa Puello. Our academic dean of Hebrew, Sarit Deluya. Our dean of culture, Kevin Mara. Our academic dean for grades 3 through 5, Alyssa Piggott. And our director of student support, Lizzie Shander.
I'm just going to interject one more time, Katie, for everybody that is watching right now. I will just plug one thing that I think is amazing about HLA2, and that is one, that we have such a robust leadership team, but both the leadership team and the staff in our building, I mean, many people that you see on the screen right now have been with the school since we opened in that inaugural 2017-2018 school year. And so it's been so wonderful for me to work with you guys, just to get to see familiar faces each day. And I know our students and our kiddos in the building really appreciate that as well. And so that's something that I think you might not always find in every school that you're looking at, but I think it's something that is really special in our building. And, I just really wanted to share that because it's one of my favorite things when I get to come spend time at HLA2.
Thanks, Roger. And yeah, our families are sometimes surprised at how well their children know the members of the leadership team, but it's because we're in classrooms working alongside teachers every day. And so we get to know the students very well. And every one of our leadership team members were all former teachers. So it's really special.
Indeed.
An academic overview. So what are we teaching at HLA2? We have ELA and math curriculum that follow the New York State Next Generation and Common Core standards and are personalized to meet each student's unique needs. In addition to ELA and math, we have instruction in Hebrew, science. We have specials, gym, music, and art. And we use NWEA MAP testing, which is a nationally normed test, to gauge our students' progress throughout the year and then tailor the instruction to meet their needs. Here's a peek into a day in the life of an HLA2 student. So our students start the day with morning meeting and they end the day with closing circle. These are important pieces of our schedule. We are a responsive classroom school, and these pieces help students start the day and end the day with a meeting together with their classmates and their teacher, where they talk about things that will set them up for success during the day. They problem solve things that have been happening in the classroom if need be, and they talk about skills such as our Olam values or team building that will help them grow as global citizens. After morning meeting, students have foundations or phonics work if they're K2 students, and strategic reading if they're in grades 3 through 5. We also have a second ELA block that is expeditionary learning. This is where they get their core reading and writing work. And then they also have specials, as we said earlier, like art, music, or PE. They have a lunch and recess block where they have time to eat, socialize, and play with friends. We have 2 math components, Eureka Math and Number Stories. They also have Hebrew, small group time, science, and read aloud during the day. Our Hebrew and Israel Studies program is obviously one of the most common things that people recognize as different when they come into our building. Our Hebrew program is immersive in Hebrew instruction, following the proficiency approach. We use small skill level groups, and the students learn through things like songs, picture books, games, play, and real life communication. And the program is, as I said, fully immersive, which means that Hebrew teachers speak to students solely in Hebrew from even pre-K up through 5th grade. And so they use a lot of facial expressions, gestures, posters, songs, and games to help students really start to pick up on the language. Israel Studies is also an important part of our program. So we learn about the culture in Israel, and the students really enjoy that piece of the day as well.
Yeah, and I think one of the amazing things about the Hebrew programming, um, not to make it about myself, but I get to when I come to the schools and see it, it's something that's embedded into every school day, and students are getting that 45 minutes a day. I always like to remind parents, there's no textbook to our Hebrew programming. It's truly through fun, through games, through song, through dance and play. We'll get a look at that in a second on the next slide, but there's no textbook to our program. We're not memorizing sentences out of a textbook. It truly, I think, brings Hebrew to life every day, and it's just something so amazing. And so I think our next slide here, we have just like a little sample to give you an idea of what the proficiency-based approach looks like. And I think in the video we're about to see here in a second, it's from a few years ago, but I think it's with kindergarten students. So many of the students that you'll see in this video, they've only had at the time maybe 2 or 3 months of exposure to Hebrew. So we'll check it out now.
מספר 2, כתוב, 1, לא אמרתי מילת הקסם קקטוס, 1 על כחול ו2 על כתום, קקטוס. טוב מאוד, אנחנו שואלים.
And so it's a quick video, but I really like getting to share this with families because I do think it's a good example of what the proficiency-based approach looks like. You can hear the teacher repeating the instructions to students multiple times. You can see her using hand movements to kind of help students understand. And so it's a really short sample, but I think a really great one. And like I mentioned before, these students had only had about a month or 2 of Hebrew at the time. So students really do, even if they have no exposure to it at home or before they come to our schools, they're really able to kind of build their capacity. And it's exciting to see them go from having no Hebrew at all to watching it just kind of like grow exponentially each day.
Yeah, it's really amazing. Parents are always surprised at how quickly their child picks up Hebrew, whether you come in pre-K or whether you come in 2nd or 3rd grade. Those skill-based groups really help us meet the needs of all students, and they really pick up the language fast. And they'll have a presentation. Each grade has their own presentation once a year where you'll get to come in and hear songs or see a play or a presentation of all of their hard work in Hebrew. Some special education and ELL services at HLA2 are listed here. We have integrated co-teaching classrooms. You may hear these referred to as ICT rooms. These are rooms that have a general education teacher and a special education teacher. We have speech, occupational therapy, and physical therapy. All of these would be services provided as recommended on a student's IEP, and we have consultants who come in and provide these services. We have special education teacher support services or SET services that are provided by HLA2 staff. Some students also have paraprofessionals as mandated on their IEP, and we offer counseling and English language learner and multi-language learner services as well. HLA2 aims to provide students with academic and personal foundation necessary for success. Some ways that we talked about already that we do this are by building skills for global citizenship. These include computation, collaboration, critical thinking, creativity, as well as empathy and emotional intelligence. We believe that all feelings, positive and negative, are okay, and we aim to support students in expressing their feelings in a healthy and safe way. We support students' social and emotional growth by helping them understand how their choices impact themselves and those around them. Restorative practices and our responsive classroom approach really help with this. And we have things like the morning meeting that we talked about, the closing circle, and other things throughout the day to help students build these skills. Our school culture is also really made special by things like community meetings, Spirit Days, Field Day, Israel Day, Olam Awards, and our end of the year celebrations. So you see some photos here at the top of our students on Israel Day. The teachers created this plane and served as flight attendants to help students travel to Israel, where they got to visit a store and spend money that they earned in the store. So it's a really, really fun day. And at the bottom, you see some students on Book Character Day. So they enjoyed dressing up as book characters and sharing their favorite book with the class. We have a dress code or uniform policy. Our uniforms are navy blue dress pants, skirts, or jumpers with tops that are solid blue, light blue or navy or white, button down or collared shirts. They can also wear navy blazers, sweater vests, and the only thing that is not permitted on the top are hoodies. And our uniforms do not have any labels, so you can get these wherever you like to get your children's clothes. Some favorite places are Target, Children's Place, Old Navy, but anywhere that you get your children's clothes, you can usually find these uniform options.
Indeed. And I know there might be some other families who have been looking at other schools. So this is, I think, one of the really wonderful things. We're not asking for like a special kit from like some uniform vendor that's $300 or $400. Whatever works best for your family, wherever you guys usually shop, we can totally make that work. So makes it easy for everybody.
We have lunch and recess. Each day we have kosher food served for breakfast, snack, and a hot lunch. Lunch is served in our classrooms in our current building. It will be served in the cafeteria in the new building. The monthly menu is shared with families in advance so that you can choose to pack lunch on days where maybe your child doesn't prefer the food. We believe that nutrition and exercise go hand in hand. And so recess is also a really important part of the day. Sometimes this is in classrooms. Sometimes students take nature walks. We also have a multi-purpose space where students play, and we have a permit through the New York City Play Streets program where 82nd Street is closed during the school day, and our students play outside there as well. We do offer after-school programming through some community partners. Here are a few of them listed here. UCAN Center, which is just down the street from the school, Kings Bay Y, JCH, and Kavoon all partner with HLA2 and pick up students to attend their programs after school.
And I should have mentioned as well here when I was putting this together, we do also have a chess program that meets once a week for students. And so it's broken down by 2 ability levels for beginners and more advanced players. And so that is also part of our menu of after school programming options too.
We have 181 days of school, and we do follow the DOE calendar for the most part, including breaks and holidays. We provide free DOE busing to students who are eligible, and eligibility is determined through the Office of Pupil Transportation. We also have a Department of Health nurse on site. Our school hours are 7:40 to 3:30 Monday through Thursday, and 7:40 to 1 o'clock on Fridays.
And we should say that the doors to the school open at 7:40. Students need to be in the building on those days by 8 a.m.
And on Fridays, our early dismissal day, our after school partners pick up the students at 1 o'clock on those days. Family communication is a very important part of our school culture. We believe that families are our students' first teachers and therefore our most important partners in their education. And we have several ways that we communicate with families, including email, a weekly newsletter. We use Parent Square and One Call to send out our communications and phone calls. We also use Google Voice and text, and teachers often use a platform called Class Tag to text with families in your preferred language. And we have our HLA2 Facebook page and our parent group as well.
So, I wanted to cover a few things as well before we open it up and we can do a little bit of Q&A. So if you do have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat now, but I'll just share some additional pearls of wisdom. Like we mentioned at the beginning of our program, we are a public charter school. And so the only way to receive admission to the school is by submitting an application. You can do that at our website, hebrewpublic.org. And when you're on the website, if you haven't already, it takes about a minute to submit the application. If you've been receiving reminders from me about the virtual open house tonight, that is an indication that you've already submitted your application. So that is a really, really wonderful sign. But if you have not yet, please, please, please don't forget to submit that application. Because we will hold our lottery for the 2024-25 school year on April 4th. And so if you have any questions about that process, or if you want to double check to make sure you've submitted your application correctly, or if you have any other questions related to that, please, please do reach out to us at admissions at hebrewpublic.org. We're always happy to answer questions and make sure that all of our students are set up for success. Any applications that come in after April 1st will be moved to the bottom of our wait list and will not be eligible for the lottery. And, you know, what I can share with everybody joining right now is year over year since last year, we've already received about 3 times as many applications than we have at this point last year. And I think it's because families in the community are really excited about what we're doing and all of the amazing things and all of our wonderful student achievement. So please make sure that you are eligible for the lottery. I'm being long-winded now by submitting the application. And additionally, if you are interested by what you heard tonight and you want to come see it in person and see what a typical school day looks like for students and staff at our building, on hebrewpublic.org, when you navigate to HLA2's page on the website, you'll see in big red bold font a link to sign up for a school tour. We do typically about one each month, and then we'll do a bunch more after we hold the lottery as well. But we would love for you to come in and to see it in person. So with that, I see some questions starting to trickle in now. So Katie, maybe we could go over some of the questions and I can run right through them. So we have one question here. When are you moving into the new school space? Do you want to take that one?
Sure. So we will be physically moving into the new space over the summer and starting the school year there for the 2024-2025 school year. There will be after school, likely the same after school partners. We will be confirming those within the next few months, but by the summer, we will know exactly which partners. It will likely be all the same ones. Again, it's very, very close to our current location. In the new space, will we have 6th through 8th grades? Great question. We won't have those right away. It is something that we're considering for the future. If more families express interest, it is an amendment to our charter that we would be open to applying for. How many spaces do we have for 5th grade children that are coming from outside, Roger?
Okay, so this is a really, really great question, and I am super excited about this move to our new building because our classrooms, we're gonna have a lot more space and our classrooms are gonna be a lot bigger. And so our current 4th grade is actually on the smaller side because of the limitations of our building. And so for that reason, I can't necessarily give you a specific number of seats that we're gonna offer in the lottery, but what I can tell you is we're definitely going to be making 5th grade offers in our lottery because we will have the capacity to serve more 5th graders next year. So I'm really, really excited about that, and, just from having worked here and been doing this job since the school opened in 2017, I can tell you over the last few years, there were some years where we only, in the lottery offered maybe 2 or 3 or 4 5th grade seats. What I can tell you is for next year, we'll definitely have the capacity to do more than that. And so we'll see how many applications we have, but what I always tell all families, if you feel like HLA2 is the right place for your family, we're gonna do everything we can to help you find a seat at the school. Our lotteries will be broadcast live, and as soon as the lottery ends, it's all digitized. So we'll click a button, so you'll know immediately, even if you're not watching live, whether or not you've received an offer for the 24-25 year, and if you haven't, what your wait list number will be. And I can tell you that we do go through our wait list. And so, you might not get your seat till June or July or August, but if you feel like it's the place for you, we're going to do everything in our power to go through our wait list to help you find a seat. So that's the best way I can answer that. But um, we're definitely going to be offering more 5th grade seats for next year than we have in previous years. So, Katie, we had a question come in, just kind of like a little bit more about curriculum and whether or not it's kind of like the gifted and talented program that some DOE schools have. Do you think you could share any information about that?
Sure. So, as I was reading this question, I was reflecting myself, which is it? I would say it's like a mixture of these two things, right? Because we are following the New York State standards. So I guess in that way, the curriculum would be similar, but also similar to something like a gifted and talented program in the way that it's providing specialized education, because we really do differentiate to meet the needs of all of our students. And it is also specialized in that we provide Hebrew and Israel studies. So I would say it's a mixture of the two. We are adhering to those state standards, and we also have several specialized pieces of our curriculum as well.
And so I do want to clarify, I apologize for the folks that are watching. So I put a little typo in here. The lottery date is Wednesday, April 3rd. The 4th is the Thursday that week. So HLA2's lottery is going to be Wednesday, April 3rd, not the 4th that I have there. But rest assured, we're going to be sharing lots more information. We will broadcast it on Zoom just like we are doing here for this tonight. And so you'll get lots more information in the coming months to sign up to watch that live if that is something that you're interested in doing. So, oh, this is a great question. So maybe just broadly, Katie, if you could share maybe a little bit just about our academic data for our students in terms of state testing and things like that. Any highlights that you can share?
Sure. So happy to share about this. Our students are outperforming their peers across the state and the city. We are also experiencing and showing really impressive scores with our L students and our students with disability. And this is not something that you see everywhere. So our students, again, are performing really well in ELA and math. This year will be our first year taking the science state test that is for 5th grade. And I look forward to seeing those scores, but really impressive ELA and math scores. And Alex, happy to share exact numbers with you. If you want to send me an email, I can give you exact numbers.
Great. Okay, so it looks like we've run through most of the questions. So at this point, I just want to take a second again to thank. We had a lot of people join tonight. So thank you so much for spending your evening with us. And we'll just reiterate again, if you do have any questions or you want to connect with Katie or I, we encourage you to reach us at admissions@hebrewpublic.org. We will get back to you as quickly as we can. And I want to plug, we've got some other exciting kind of like family engagement events, which will be coming up in January and February as we lead up to the lottery, because we want you to come meet with us. We want you to meet our staff and our teachers and get to know our school community. And so I will say, just be on the lookout. I typically send a newsletter to families once or twice a month. And so we'll be communicating some really, really fun activities and events as we get a little bit closer to the lottery. But we just want to thank everybody again who joined us this evening. And I want to thank you, Katie, so much for spending this evening with us and sharing a little bit more. We're so excited about our future. We're so excited about our move to our new school for next year at 2286 Cropsey. And we've got lots of exciting and great things coming up. And so I want to thank everybody again. And we hope that you have a wonderful rest of the evening. Thank you so much, Katie. Have a great night.
Thank you.